Welcome to the first episode of The Squeeze, the Marketing Juice podcast. Miranda, what are we going to talk about today?
So we're going to touch on a really popular subject. I bet a lot of business owners are feeling pretty blindsided by the changes that happen on social media platforms, like opening up your phone to see a completely new app to manage your Facebook and Instagram profiles and having no idea that that was coming. How to stay up to date, where to find that information, and why that's important for your business.
Welcome to The Squeeze. I'm Joe.
And I'm Miranda. And today we're going to be talking about platform changes in marketing and how to keep up with them and manage them for your small business. So Joe, as you might know, there have been a lot of social media marketing changes.
Oh, yeah.
Especially this summer. I don't know about you, but it's been really frustrating for me to have to keep opening up apps on my phone or on my desktop and seeing completely new menus and just awful different ways to find things that used to be really easy to find.
Yeah, it's been a lot for sure.
Yeah. One of the things that makes that really difficult is that it can really affect your data and it can affect your ability to distribute that content through that channel, especially like if you've been using the platform for many years and become accustomed to a certain process of approaching, this process with social media marketing. And so we at Marketing Juice try to stay up to date for our clients, but we know that, everybody out there can't necessarily afford outsourcing all of their social media marketing to a marketing agency. Another thing that we find is that it's always more helpful, even when we are doing the social media marketing for a client, that they're able to jump in and present their own voice on their channels and coordinate with us with our content. And if they don't know how to use the channel, that becomes a pretty big problem.
Right. So I think this topic will be interesting for marketers and for small business owners who are doing some of their own marketing.
Yeah, I agree. So as we know, social media marketing is incredibly important for growing businesses. I mean, you really can't avoid it anymore. As a small business, you have to have pretty much at least one presence or profile on one of the major social media platforms, right?
Yeah.
And what becomes difficult about that is that maybe you weren't a social media user before starting to market as a business on those channels. And so, having to kind of just learn it from scratch, whereas there are a lot of new businesses out there that start off being social media users and essentially starting their business through social media. So it becomes particularly difficult for business owners who have a long established business and are just now entering the social media marketing world.
Yeah, and I think that became much more of a necessity with the pandemic, finding new ways to engage with your clients, with your customers. And I think from a small business perspective, and you kind of brought this up, one of the issues can be that you feel like you need to tackle all of these channels at once. What would you say to a business owner or even a marketer who feels like they need to just get on every channel?
That's a good question. We get that question a lot. Honestly, it's a myth. That you have to be present on every single social channel. And to every single business that we work with, we always recommend, start small. Try one at a time. Get really good at one strategy and then grow from there. We see typically algorithm updates with big platforms like Facebook and Instagram every 6 months. And if you are juggling 3, 4, 5 different platforms, those changes don't happen in tandem. They're going to happen at odd intervals throughout the year, and it
never at a good time.
Right, exactly. Just at the beginning of this summer, Facebook and Instagram announced big changes a month apart to their algorithms, which greatly affected small business pages' engagement levels. Facebook also removed their page analytics as of June 30th with very little notice to page owners, which is an important actual point here. It's not common for the social media platforms to actually tell you when they are going to make these updates. It's like an afterthought most of the time, right? And then for many of us, we're not really checking those emails, for the social notifications, especially with a Gmail inbox. You have categorization of social email and primary email and promotional email. And so a lot of times those platform notifications, those changes will come to your social email and will often be disregarded.
I may be guilty of that every now and again. So yeah,
I think we all are. I mean, who doesn't get too many emails every day, right? Yeah. It's not necessary to be good at all of them at once, right? We can really only do one thing at a time as human beings, even though, multitasking has become this cultural phenomenon.
Right.
You truly can only focus on one thing at a time. And it's okay to focus on a Facebook presence and not a Twitter presence and not a LinkedIn presence, and gradually add those in as you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, so it's better to do one thing well than to do 5 or 6 different things poorly. For a small business owner, if they're trying to think, well, what channel do I get on? Do you have any advice for how they should choose, which platform?
Absolutely. I mean, what it really comes down to is who are you talking to? Who is your audience? If you're talking to a, older millennial, Gen X, baby boomer demographic, you're going to want to be on the Facebook platform. We don't see a lot of younger people interacting there anymore, but Facebook has definitely the largest market share among those age groups, young baby boomers through older millennials.
Right.
Whereas, Gen Z, maybe TikTok's the right platform for you. And each one is going to take a very different strategy. And so I can't stress that enough, that importance of really focusing on which platform you're going to invest in, what the requirements are on that specific platform. If your demographic is present there, that's super important. And present doesn't mean just having an account. It means actually participating on that platform. So there's not a lot of point to advertising to people who don't log in every single day on that platform, right? So we want to focus on, first, who's your customer? Who are you talking to? And then second, where are they? What kind of time do they spend online? What platforms are they using the most?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's always about the audience. It always needs to come back to the audience. And how do we actually stay up to date on these things? Do you have any advice for ways to kind of keep up to date with these changes?
Absolutely. So we have a few publications that we stay very much in touch with. We subscribe to them, and I really like them. Just as a marketer, they seem to have their finger on the pulse, essentially, to what's happening with these platform changes, at least a little bit before the platforms do make their formal announcements. One of my favorites is socialmediaexaminer.com. Super easy to subscribe. They're essentially just like a big blog, and they write literally about every single social channel out there. Sometimes they get it wrong, but most of the time I find very valuable and helpful information there. One of the things that I also recommend is social platforms themselves. So Facebook has its own Facebook page, right? So Facebook for Business is a Facebook page on Facebook. It's very meta. And so following an account like that can often get you more up to date, up to the minute updates, essentially, about what is going to happen to that platform and what business tools are available to which types of pages and whatnot. And so, following them on multiple social accounts. So if you're an avid Twitter user, follow the Facebook Twitter account,
Right.
or make sure that you are subscribed and paying attention to those notification emails. So if you've decided that Facebook is the platform that you would like to invest in, reprioritize that in your inbox. Make sure that you are going to get those Facebook emails. They did send an email out regarding the Facebook page analytics going away on June 30th, back in April or March, which gave us a little bit of time, as marketers to research alternatives. However, I'm betting maybe 90% of Facebook users did not see that update come through. And so, go into your inbox if you have a social presence and make sure that you have those showing up in your inbox and they're not going to spam. Another great resource that we use at Marketing Juice is we rely a lot on community forums. So something that a lot of people don't know about the marketing industry is that, we're going into it just as blind as you. There isn't a marketing authority from on high telling us like, here's the new Google criteria, or here's the new Facebook criteria, or here's what really works in this way. Like, a lot of our information is crowdsourced through other marketing communities, and we rely a lot on our data to really measure and anticipate those updates coming up. And so Reddit forums, sometimes on your website builder, they'll have website builder forums. Like, we know Squarespace has a great forum that we utilize a lot. Those can be really great tools. A couple other publications that I would recommend: searchenginewatch.com, searchenginejournal.com, and moz.com. Great ones.
Right. Yeah, those are all really good. I get those frequently. If you are hosting on a certain platform, say Squarespace, are there certain tools that come with that site, with that platform that you can use?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Squarespace has its own built-in analytics, which can be really helpful to us to monitor changes, not just to the website and the performance of the website, but also traffic that's coming in from external platforms is tracked through there pretty nicely and pretty easily to interpret. There's also plenty of external dashboards for analytics. We love Google Analytics. It's a free service. What can be helpful is if you get good at reading that data on your analytics platform on your website, it can indicate coming changes or changes that have already happened to external platform algorithms because of the performance adjustments on your site. So if you see a spike in traffic on Facebook, but you're not seeing a spike in engagement in your posts, that might mean that something happened to the Facebook algorithm to adjust the visibility of your post, not based on engagement, but maybe based on content or hashtags. And so those are things that like we can glean and estimate from those data platforms. And so I highly recommend that all small businesses with a website, or even if you're just using social platforms as your main communication platform, connecting some level of analytics there to monitor your own performance and measure the performance of things that you're testing. That's super important.
Right. What about Keyword Planner?
Keyword Planner is an excellent tool. Keyword Planner can really give you a great picture of what you need to be talking about in your business industry. A lot of people miss the mark. A lot of business owners miss the mark when it comes to deciding like how to communicate about their business because they're not always as in tune with their demographic. And as part of these platform changes, like part of the digital marketing changes, have to do with the changing user demographic. So, as we have new, younger generations entering the marketplace, the digital platforms are going to be changing to accommodate their usage of these platforms, right? And so measuring how people are participating using tools like Keyword Planner to see what's being searched and what industries and how competitive those are amongst, like similar companies to your own. That can be extremely useful too in helping to anticipate what platform changes and how you might have to change your strategy to adapt to a platform change.
Absolutely. So to recap, we've got a few publications that you guys can check out. So there's moz.com, searchenginejournal.com, searchenginewatch.com, and what's the one I'm forgetting?
Socialmediaexaminer.com.
Socialmediaexaminer.com. So those are all great publications. There's also the forums, right? Mm-hmm. So you said Reddit, even forums that are on your website hosting platform, whatever you use. Anything else?
Oh, make sure you update those email subscriptions.
Yes.
That's a good takeaway here. So if you don't do anything else, at least you're getting the information directly from the source through that way. So.
Right. And so you might be thinking that, hey, this is a lot to keep up with. I don't know how to read the analytics page on Google Analytics. And maybe you need help. That's what we're here for. That's what Marketing Juice is here for. Do you want to say a little bit about some of the services that Marketing Juice can provide small businesses?
Marketing Juice exists to serve the small business community. Small business owners wear too many hats as it is, and with the rapidly changing environment in digital marketing, it can feel like another full-time job just to manage your marketing. And so we can supplement marketing strategies. We can handle the entire marketing strategy for a business. We can do special projects, just anything under that digital marketing sun. Marketing Juice can help with small businesses. You can reach out to us on our website through our contact form, or you can follow us on our social medias and get some daily content that we post out. We always post out best practices for marketing and great stats. So you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Marketing Juice.
Excellent. So I think this was a really helpful show. I've learned a lot. I've got some notes of my own. We'll definitely be sharing some more information in future podcasts.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe to our channel, and then keep checking back. We will post out these episodes regularly. If there's something that you would like us to talk about that you haven't heard yet, please shoot us a message. We would love to cover any marketing topics that are of interest to our small business owner listeners.